All right. We're back. Sorry
Woohoo!
for anyone that was watching a few minutes ago. We had a little technical difficulties, but we're back. Meg's back. I'm back.
Yep.
We're connected.
Always connected.
That's right. Text difficulties can't stop us, right? So,
That's right.
okay. Well, let's just kind of like go back and tell us again, Meg. Yeah, and again, thanks for coming on. Thanks for being here and being so willing. You're so open about your journey, which really means that you inspire so many others along their way as well. So I really appreciate you taking this time to come on here and share some of your story and your experience with us to help other people. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about you and where you're from and what you do.
Yeah, perfect. So my name is Meg. I live in Florida currently. I live on a goat farm in a camper, and I'm a yoga teacher and a Pilates teacher, and I also work as an event manager and a meditation teacher.
Okay, awesome. Well, so Meg and I met, let's see, I think it was last year sometime, and we've been working together for a while. And so, tell us, like, kind of some of your backstory. Like, what do you think are the most important things, the most important elements of like where you started and what led you to meeting with me and starting to work with us here in Think Eat Win?
Well, it's been a journey. It was quite a journey to find you, and I do believe that no meetings are coincidental, and no connections are coincidental. So I'm someone who has struggled with my weight basically my entire life. This has been a lifelong journey for me, and I progressed from being a chubby child into really a fat adult. And at my highest weight and maybe at my lowest mental point, I really knew that I had to make big changes in my life, and that I was not headed in a place where I was going to have a nice, long, productive life. I was definitely going to have one that was challenged. So I decided 7 years ago to have gastric sleeve bariatric surgery, and honestly, that was one of the best decisions I had ever made for myself. That gave me freedom again. I was able to take off several hundred pounds. I was able to start moving and to connect with my body. And you think when you do bariatric surgery, like, this is it, this is my solution, I figured it out, I've got this all figured out for the rest of my life. And then I find 5 years after surgery, I have regained about 40 or 50 pounds. And not even really realizing it, just kind of noticing it kind of creep back on, because things change. Things change with how you eat, and things change with the size of your stomach. And I was very, very devastated. I felt like such a failure. I felt like I had let myself down, and I was really in a downward spiral, I guess, so to speak. And I, of course, like most people, are seeking things online, scrolling, and a lot of my scrolling, it was centered around fitness, was centered around nutrition, was centered around weight loss, was centered around mindset. And and that's, of course, that beautiful intersection happened, because that's the beautiful intersection between us. And I saw a few of your posts that spoke to me on such a deep level, that, as someone who's been on a diet, and somebody who's worked in wellness for years, and somebody who's been on a diet my entire life, I was like, nobody has ever framed the way we think about things, or the way we think about food, or the jobs that we put food into. I always famously remember this. This was the one you said: don't give a food a job it can't do. And I said, uh-oh, I've given it so many jobs. I've been its full-time employer for everything. And that's when I knew that you were taking a different approach to weight loss, to everything. We're not going outside of ourselves. We're not counting macros. We're not doing all of those things. We're not finding our steps and doing these things. We're really taking our information inside, and we're going to the core of, you know, do I even know myself? Am I even aware of what I'm thinking? Am I even aware of what I'm feeling? Could I even understand a hunger cue or a satiety cue? And those were things that I couldn't do. Those were things I still did not have the capability of doing. The surgery restricted it so that I would feel uncomfortably full quickly, but that's not the long-term solution to anything because obviously I was still able to gain weight with that. And I knew that I needed more. I needed more help. I needed somebody to help me go on that journey inside because I had never done it before. And so that's how I got to you, luckily. And that's what you do so beautifully.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So that's interesting with all of your spiritual practices that you're already a part of. Do you feel like you found tools in the program here that you didn't have elsewhere, as far as food is concerned?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And in my spiritual practices too, I've I've dealt with food a lot, but for so long the surgery kept me from having to really deal so much with the food because I was just naturally losing weight from eating less. It's when I kind of hit that point where it's like, okay, this is where kind of the help stops and you got to figure it out. That's when it was such a challenge for me to figure that out. And that's when I really started digging deep into the how did I get here? What's happening here? Because it was definitely one of those things. I thought I had figured it out. I thought I had put a check mark by, uh-oh, we're good. We're never going to have to worry about this again. And I was wrong. And I was wrong. It doesn't happen often, but I am wrong every now and then. Um, but
Yeah,
that was when I also could recognize though that I didn't need something outside of me. I needed something that was inside. I needed a way to I needed things like a formula for my thoughts, like when this happens, what do I do? And in spiritual practices we do a lot of the things, but my food thoughts are so intense. Like they're so big, they're so overwhelming. They've been there for my whole life, that it can feel so overwhelming.
yeah,
So you helped me develop tools specifically around food specifically around food. And of course, what putting boundaries around food has forced me to do is enforce boundaries in other parts of my life too. So, it goes way beyond just like making sure that I'm eating this much protein and eating this, making sure I've got good healthy fats and all of those things, which is, of course, important. But that's the easy part. Honestly, the food, it's like if you eat this, this is how things will be. It's all the stuff that comes up with that,
it's
And
all the drivers
you
of
gave us
the reasons for why we're eating. So you
right.
feel like you got some more clarity into your own self, into your own past and your patterns as to why you were eating and kind of some tools for, you know, changing that direction. Do you feel like you were able to do that
Absolutely.
here? Yeah.
Absolutely. Like I said, I don't want to say that weight loss surgery is an easy way out. It did help me really get that jump start on it. But this is really the deep work of how am I going to get and stay where I want to be? How am I going to do this in a way that's seamless for my life? How am I going to do this in a way where I stay exceptionally kind to myself, And that's not something that I've ever really considered before. It's bully yourself into getting where you want to go. And this gives me the opportunity to not only love myself through the process, but like understand my process too and why I do the things and why I think that way. I definitely think with my background, it helped me grasp these concepts um, and put them into play, but in ways that I had never considered. I've never done a deep dive specifically around food, around how I feel about my body a lot, but around food specifically it's really a whole different experience. And of course I'm fascinated by it. This is what I feel like I'm here to share with the world is this journey and knowing that yeah, it's hard. It can be a struggle. It can be a struggle to be in your body. It can be a struggle to be overweight. It can be a struggle to lose the weight. But everything that you do for yourself is just raising who you are, just raising your energy, raising your vibration, changing the world. So I think I love this program for that reason. It really allows me to go in and understand why I do the things I do.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that so much. So what are some of your favorite elements that, of the program? Because, there's a lot, right? There's one-on-ones, there's group calls, there's a lot of like reflection and, training modules and all kinds of resources there, and more. But like, what were some of your favorite things about it? And even still today?
Well, I mean, obviously, still today, the group calls I love. I love connecting with the tribe. I love seeing how the tribe has shifted and changed in the year that I've been there too. Just what a what an even more supportive group of people who are coming together to talk about a very common thing, but in a way that's so loving and a way that's so helpful and so supportive. And I just adore everyone in there. But the initial part of the program, doing the modules, but doing the one-on-one sessions with you, and you have a way of, listen, girl, you've got a way of digging into people's soul. You have a way of digging in there to pick out and extract those things that we can't see. And that's such a beautiful gift and such a needed gift for us. Because when you're caught in the chaos of yourself, it's really hard to step out and be like, whoa, wait a minute, what's actually happening? And you are such a great, holder of that space for us, and such a deep probe. You always ask great questions and things like that, so it really allows us to consider. You're not just giving us a formula, you're asking us to say, why do you think that way? Can you think in a different way? So of course the one-on-ones were immensely helpful, especially at the beginning, but the ongoing support of the tribe is what I can't give up. I can't give you guys up. I love you guys.
You never have to. Yeah, and I agree. Like, we're attracting like a higher quality person, or not really, you know what I mean, but like people that know, hey, this is way beyond weight loss, and what I'm really looking for is an improved relationship with myself.
Yeah,
And that's really like what we're getting. And the cool thing is that it's not just relationship with yourself, but we're getting weight loss results at the same time.
absolutely.
Like, everybody's like seeing success in that area of their life, and all these surprising benefits like on the side as well. So, okay, so let me ask you this. Back at the when we first met and first talked for the first time, we hopped on a call and we kind of looked at your situation, and
I
I
burst
told
into
you
tears a few
totally
times.
normal.
It's
But
okay if you cry. You can cry all the time in here. I do all the time.
yes, it is. Crying is good. But yeah, I remember at that, on that call where it was like, Meg, I'm 100% confident I can help you with this. And you just it was a process to get over that starting line. It was a really tough decision. You had to really take a leap of faith. And so, like, looking all the way back to that, do you think that leap of faith was worth it? Are you glad that you made that jump, that investment in yourself?
Oh, absolutely. 100%. And what you said to me that day when you were like, I can help you. And I said, I don't know if I can do it. And you said, where are you gonna be in 1 year if you don't do anything now? And it was then again that I went, well, I'm not probably gonna be anywhere close to where I wanna be, the way that things are going. And I had, and you know this, I had an incredibly tough 2024. It was rough from start to finish. And, you know, having any other time where I was not part of this group and I had a year like that, I guarantee I would have at least probably put on 20 pounds by the end of the year, by the end of that 1 year. I would have
Just with,
been
like, stress eating and all of that.
depressed eating, stressed eating, not taking care of myself, not taking care, of the things that I need to. And, what was really impactful for me was, even though I had the losses and the failures and the everything that happened last year, um, I've always been able to come back to this. I've always been able to come back to, what are my thoughts about this? And how do I want to feel? And how can I reframe this thought? And knowing that those neural pathways, the more you do that, they're going to continue to grow, they're going to continue to grow. But it takes practice, it takes consistency to do that too. And consistency, of course, is a thing that I've struggled with. But yeah. Uh, yeah, it was a tough year, but if I had not, I would not be. And honestly, I'm thriving right now. I'm doing great now, and I'm in a good place. I'm in a good mindset, and I always know that when I'm feeling like uncomfortable or when I'm feeling like I want to eat, I can pop on one of the old talks that I didn't get around to listening to, or one of the bonus things that I had never paid attention to. There's always such a little nugget in there. There's always such a little takeaway that it's like, ooh, that's exactly what I needed to hear right now. And it's amazing how that happens. So, we've got that, you've got your whole library of talks and information, and it's gold, it's honestly, it's gold.
Yeah. Well, I love hearing how much it's helped you. And I agree. Like you're thriving now a year later instead of kind of where you envisioned you might be if you hadn't done something.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I love that. So good. So tell me, like, what would you say to somebody who was like in that place where you were struggling, feeling like I've tried everything. I've even tried big, drastic stuff. Like, there's no hope for me. But maybe they're connecting with some of my content like you did and knowing and just, I don't know, feeling kind of that connection, that draw, that pull. What would you say to somebody who's kind of right there?
I would let them know that if we're in this group, we've been exactly where you are. We've been I was scared. I was worried that I was going to fail. I was scared that I wouldn't be able to do it. I was honestly afraid to even confront all of this because I didn't want to let go of food as my safety blanket too. So I knew, but I also knew in the greater scheme of things that I had to prioritize myself, that I knew that I needed new skills in order to continue to live the healthy life that I want to live. You know, I want to be I have a teacher who's 65 years old, and she teaches the most challenging fitness class I've ever taken in my entire life. That's how I want to be. That's what I aspire to. So if you're on the fence, just know that you're walking into support. You're walking into a place of love. This is not the kind of coaching where you get in trouble for doing things, like if you eat a donut, we're not going to shun you. We're not going to we're going to understand. But Betsy's also going to help you uncover so many things about yourself that are just lingering beneath the surface, that will be so helpful for you. So there is only growth here. There is only growth. And I would venture to say from this program, even more than the weight loss, has been all of the tools that I've learned along the way. And I apply them not just to food, I apply them to everyday situations in my life also, because they translate like that. Because food's just an energy, just like work, just like family. You can use a lot of these tools in the same way. And you will find out things. I didn't know I was a perfectionist until I joined your group. I'm like, me, I'm so messy. I'm not a perfectionist. I am. It turns out I actually am a perfectionist, and I have an all or nothing attitude about so many things, not just even food, but absolutely food has been, and doing the diet right and doing the exercise right. This is a place of support. This is a place of learning. This is a place of sharing and understanding. This is, you know, this is a place where you're going to learn a lot about yourself.
Yeah.
So I know
I
if
love
you're on the fence, I know it can feel like a struggle, but I promise you, you'll come on the other end a different person.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good. So still speaking to someone who might be scared, like you mentioned, like it was scary to look at what was below the surface. Looking back at that fear, was it as scary as you thought it was going to be to really get at the real issue?
Well, no, it's not really. Actually, honestly, it's annoyingly easy. It's disgustingly simple. It's like, wow, that's really that's really interesting. So yeah, I've uncovered a lot, and most of them are just thought patterns. Most of them are just things that I've just sort of carried through my life. They were thoughts of how my parents felt about food or how other people felt about food. Those are just things that I've brought along with me, thinking that, really that they're my thoughts. And they aren't, and so being scared, I totally understand. Being shamed for your body, I totally understand. Being terrified to let go of your safety blanket, I totally, totally, totally understand. But like coming into your heart and coming into your body and feeling secure in it and feeling like you have a good relationship with food, something that you're going to have to deal with right now to the end of your life, that is a much better feeling. That is a powerful feeling.
Yeah. So good. Yeah. And really, like, we can't get to that place on our own. Like, it really takes somebody to kind of show us from the outside, like you said.
100%.
Yeah,
I've
and
been on
somebody
every
to teach
diet
us things
ever.
that we didn't know that we needed, but are missing, right? So,
Right.
yeah, that's so good. So, okay, well, any last thing you want to add before we wrap up today?
Well, I just want to thank you as always, of course, because this program has really changed the course of my life. The people that I've met through the program have completely changed the course of my life, and and I feel like you're just continuing to build just an even greater thing here, an even greater group. And we need it. Most of the people, I guarantee, who are coming to you are people that are at least similar in some way to me. I'm sure that they've been on every diet. I'm sure they've low carbed and ketoed and veganed and everything else. And I know how desperate it can feel when you feel like you don't have anything left. I've done every diet. I've done everything. So taking that deep dive to come in, we're fun, we laugh, we have a good time. Sometimes I cry,
We
it's
cry, we
it's a
laugh,
good time.
we do. We have an awesome time. Yeah.
We have an awesome time and we learn so much about ourselves. So if you're on the fence, hit me up. I'll talk to you about it. You can ask me any questions.
Okay, that's good to know. I'll tag you in this so that if anyone wants to reach out and talk to you about your experience, they can.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Happy to.
awesome. Well, thank you again, Meg, so much for
Thank you,
sharing your
Sarah.
journey. You're an inspiration, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day.
Thanks. You too, love.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, y'all.